Simon, a couple of days have passed now since the draw over at Odsal on Sunday against the Bradford Bulls, the derby game that ended all square. Like I say, you've had a few days to sort of look back on that result. Do you still consider it a point lost? Or?
Yeah, definitely, because of the circumstances of the finish being up and then them coming back and taking a point. You have to view it as a point lost, I think. Listen, for the neutral, I'm sure it was a very good, entertaining game. There probably are always going to be a contest on that pitch. It changes the game a bit, and certain factors become important. But yeah, listen, disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. We didn't lose. I think that's the bit to hold on to. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. But yeah, it was disappointing, just the manner of loss, because we'd rode a first 20 minutes where they were really good, started really well, game planned it well, and they were playing good. We started average at best, just lacked intent really in a lot of stuff we were doing. We managed to get ourselves out of that, got on the board, went in half time in a good spot, and then second half, it was a contest. But I think ultimately we just came up with some absolute shockers at wrong times, and Bulls did what they needed to do and took the points, and obviously Deck Patton kicking the penalty at the end, which was a bit of a gift, to be honest. So yeah, we're an hard one to take. Yeah, but it's like every week we have to move on, don't we? It could have been worse, obviously, with the loss, but yeah, it's still a tough one to take.
So obviously a couple of changes. Ben Crooks came in on debut, had a good game, which meant that Zach McComb fell to the bench into sort of like a utility forward sort of role. Would you seen that one coming here? Are you happy with the way that Crooksy went, and can you explain the sort of situation with Zach there on the bench?
Yeah, well, Crooksy was really good. Carried the ball a lot, made some good decisions in defence, very vocal out there, which is what you'd expect from an experienced player. Unfortunately, we didn't really get a chance to see much of him in any sort of flowing or space scenarios, just because the pitch, as I said, doesn't really allow for that. But he was really good. Come with some good plays for us. And Zach, yeah, listen, that sort of role has been a conversation I've had with Zach before, and we just haven't quite got around to using it. Something else has happened, or back's got injured to where we don't change it and try it. But he's fit, fast, strong, and he effectively doing the same job carrying in the middle anyway. He just, rather than it being play 1 or 2, he's play 3 or 4 a bit further up, and I just think he offers something different. That bit of feet, he poked his nose through a bit, got it quick, and I think he got it quick leading up to the kick try where Lachlan scored, give us a little bit of space there. But he's a competitor, and that sort of pitch lends itself to a yardage game as well, so I thought we needed his leg speed out there, and it won't be the last time we use him in that role. Did a really good job. I thought he were a really good positive from the game. But yeah, also opportunity to bring Crooksy in, got him in. There was no point in waiting to get him on board. It just happened. Salting and Lachlan have been doing a really good job on the wing, and because we'd planted that seed and had a discussion around that possible role being for him, the pitch, weighing it all up, warm day and all those things, just thought it was the right time, and I thought it proved to be a pretty good decision, really.
Yeah, with Crooks coming in, obviously you've got plenty of options in the 3 quarters now, so is that a role that you could see? We've had in recent years where we've sort of fallen upon these combinations and these roles for players that you might have envisioned being different at the start of the year, so do you feel like it's a positive and it can only be good moving forward?
Listen, for Zach it's a positive. I think he came just wanting to be a centre. He's learned how to be a winger. He's doing a decent job at both of them, and now he's having a look at a different position, which can only be beneficial for him and subsequently the team, obviously. But yeah, we haven't got a great deal of depth. Obviously, Nick moving on, Cole, who's a bit of a utility man now playing at Keighley. We haven't got Huggins of depth, but whoever plays well keeps the jerseys, and if you play that well, as Zach has been going well, that's why we had to find a space for him anyway. So yeah, look, we're round 16 now, so we're into the begun the home stretch, if you like, and we're not where we'd like to be. It's been a frustrating year, and we have chopped and changed quite a bit, just because the form has been so inconsistent. We've had to keep trying and changing stuff, but I like to think we're learning some lessons, and I think Kyle Wood's sort of bedding in there now and doing a good job, and just with a few tweaks, there's a bit more mileage in it yet, so I think we're not in the spot we want to be in, but it's not where we are now that matters. It's where we finish, and that's our focus for now. But we're only going to take it a week at a time, and this one coming up is a really big game. I think they've found some form now after what was a really rough start for them, so we're going to have to be good this week. Yeah,
we'll come on to Barrow. Do you take some heart in knowing that at the halfway point of the season we are in those playoff spots in what most would consider the most competitive, we say it every year, but the most competitive championship season in years where anyone can beat anyone on any given day?
Yeah, I think that's part of our problem as a team and a club. We've done well, haven't we, in recent years, but this league just keeps getting better, and when we haven't been quite on it this year, other teams have, and that's why we find ourselves where we are at present. But the fortunate thing is everyone else, all the other coaches are going bald because they're having the same sort of issues as well, where, you know, after the game, obviously gutted the other day, then you open your phone up and you go one or two ways, oh, it's not that bad because some of these results have probably gone our way, whereas I'm nearly smashing my head off wall because I'm like, look what we're giving away here, we could be just fighting our way back up that ladder. But yeah, frustrating as it is, we just have to keep ploughing on, and again, I keep repeating myself, but finding that consistency is really important. If we can do that and put a bit of a run together, not necessarily winning consecutive games, but if we get that good level of performance, give ourselves a really good chance of climbing a bit. And let's be honest, at the moment, the playoffs are not guaranteed for maybe four or five teams, so we've all got a bit to do to make sure we're in there at the end of the year, and that's the aim, I think, for everyone in the competition. When you sit down, at minimum you all want to be in the playoffs. So with the way the league's gone, very competitive, results all over the shop, it's thrown up some shocks here, there and everywhere, but you know that now it makes it even more important to make sure you knuckle down and get yourselves in that spot firstly. I mean, we'd like to be further up the table, of course we would, but as a minimum that's where everyone wants to be, I think.
You mentioned consistency being key. That will obviously come with a settled side that starts to play and get those combinations working. At this point in the season, just over halfway through, is this the time where you want to start settling into a regular 17?
Yeah, somewhat, but I think that's been our problem. Inconsistency individually. Some people, Lachlan for example, Salty's got that consistency. I can give you a couple more that have been really good in terms of consistency, but as a collective we haven't quite found it, so we'll have to keep having a look at it. But yeah, at some point we need to sort of settle, and this is the team and it's on the boys to do that, to make sure they're in that 17. What we have been consistent is coming up with bloopers, and no one means to do it, and it's not the same person every week, and it's really frustrating, but we need to react better to those scenarios, and that's something we'll be speaking about this week, because there will be errors against Barrow, that's rugby, it happens, but our reaction to them needs to improve. Any
injuries off the back of the Bradford derby?
Plenty of bruised bodies. Yeah, a tough physical encounter. I don't think anyone's screaming at me like they're in danger of missing, but there's a few that need to be checked on tonight. Yeah, well, as I said last week, we're at that time of season now where the cumulative effect of playing rugby and bashing each other week on week starts taking its toll. So yeah, we'll look after them best we can, but I'm pretty sure every one of them will want to be out on the field this week after what was a disappointing finish last week.
So moving on to this weekend then, we're back at the Shay, the Halifax homecoming event. Barrow Raiders coming to town, obviously. We've already seen them down the Shay. Once the Shay beat them in the cup but lost in the away game in the league. Is there a bit, we ask you sometimes, you don't like these words, but a bit of revenge on your mind for that league game away?
Not really, no. I'd like to reverse the feeling, because that was a terrible drive back. But no, we're playing a different Barrow. I think we're in a different spot as well. The team's quite different, and we're trying to work on different things to try and get ourselves in form, and they've found their way again, I think, really, moving the ball really well, and obviously got a lot of talented players in there, and some blokes like Samet, who's doing stuff off the cuff as he has done every year, and he can plan for it all you want, but he always seems to come up with something, so we're going to have to be on it. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Getting back down to Shay is good for us. Obviously a load of weeks on the road now, it's nice to get back, and I've been down there today, the pitch is looking well. I think we're due some nice weather, so I think you'll see two teams that are obviously both desperate. Barrow are still fighting to try and claw their way back up, so you'll see two teams that are going to be giving everything, really, try and get them points. And I think we play somewhat similar, a lot of ball movement in their game, and we're going to go, we generally go down that route every time, every game. I want to play what they see, and we're going to go down that route again this week, but you know, there'll be a mixture of stuff in there around being direct and ball movement, but we're just looking to get the balance right for us at the moment, because I think a few weeks ago we were probably too much lateral, and in recent weeks we've probably been a bit too conservative. We need to move the ball a bit more, and Barrow's certainly good at that as well.
After playing on a postage stamp pitch over at Odsall, it'd be nice to have a bit of space and try and bring the backs in and see the best from the likes of Lachlan Walmsley and Ben Crooks.
Yeah, I mean, we can moan about that pitch over there. I'm not a massive fan of it, but it's just another challenge, isn't it? Like, Bradford have got that every other week, so yeah, maybe they have a little bit of more familiarity, if you like, but I think it just tests everyone to change a little bit and adapt to what's in front of them. So it's not a bad experience, because you can still use them tactics in different games at different times in games, and it's something we'll probably lean to at times throughout this season, what's remaining of this season. So yeah, it'd be nice to get some space, and it'd be nice to see Crooks get a little bit of room. I thought had the pitch been a little bit bigger the other day, there's a couple of occasions where he gets the ball, I think there might have been a bit more opportunity to do something, but it wasn't. Did all right with the space he had, but yeah, you're right, it'd be nice to see him get a little bit of room.
And our home record has been quite a big part of our seasons in the last couple of years. We've had quite a lot of home games so far with that home record standing, so how important is it with quite a lot of away games coming that we make sure that we keep that home form going and get these points on the board? Yeah,
definitely. And listen, we need a reaction from last week. Losing the game in the dying seconds when it felt like it was in the bag was really disappointing, and the manner of loss, particularly our middle. Hopefully they'll watch this and it might get up them a little bit, but I thought we got rolled. I thought they started with far more intent than us, and physically we couldn't contain them, which is played at middle, and I've had that said to me. It's not a nice thing to hear, but it's there on tape, and they've all had a good look at it, so I'm sure they're feeling it a bit, and they don't need to come out and put a performance in to right that for their own minds as well as anyone else's. But it'll be a very difficult game, tough game. As I say, this is a different Barrow, but hopefully we see a different version of us, and certainly a reaction after last week.
It'll be 37 days to the day on Sunday since we last played against St Helens at the Shay in the Cup, in that fantastic performance. A big event that night, a big crowd. There's lots planned for this weekend with bounce castles, family tickets, juniors going free, live bands, live music, competitions. It's set for a really good event for families to come and enjoy down at Shay.
Yeah, we're trying, aren't we? It's something we obviously have to improve on. There's reasons behind where we can't make it a carnival atmosphere every week, obviously, which I won't bore you with the reasons, but there's obviously them reasons. But the club are making effort. I think we've seen a far greater junior presence and a community rugby league presence this year, which has been really pleasing, and hopefully we'll get a few of those younger kids enthralled in the Panthers, and start looking at these blokes as idols and not the other fellas that we see on the TV every week. But we can only do that by making it inviting for them to come down and certainly putting the effort in. So hopefully that's met with a good crowd, and as I say, the weather's going to allow for it, so it should be a good day.
And finally then, on Sunday after the game, there was the draw for the semi-finals of the AB Sundex 1895 Cup. We drew possibly one of the toughest journeys possible, London Broncos away. What's your reaction to that draw? Are you happy with it? It's 80 minutes from Wembley, so should the opposition really matter? We should be motivated anyway.
Yeah, you're probably right in that. It's an opportunity regardless, isn't it? It's an escape from the league as well. It's a good thing to sort of just separate your season up with. So it's good that we're still in that cup. Yeah, London away, tough. They've improved steadily over the season and continue to recruit and add quality to their squad. So they'll certainly be a very different team to what we played earlier on in this season. I've watched a bit of them. They're going well. And the additions they have made have been good for them so far. But yeah, you've got a bit to contend with, but there'd only be excuses, wouldn't there? We haven't travelled well, have we, to London? I can't remember last time we won there, to be honest. 20?
20 years,
20.
I think.
20 years. 20 years, wow, long time. So yeah, that's something we'd like to break, obviously. And obviously the opportunity to go to Wembley is huge. So, as you said there in the question of it, 80 minutes away, so opposition shouldn't really matter. It's about the want and desire that we have to get the job done.
How much do you target a game like that with all the league games, the crucial league games coming up? How do you target that game and sort of plan ahead, or do you have to sort of keep everyone focused and be like, that game will come eventually? And
we don't work like that anyway, Faz. Well, I don't. The lads might start looking at it, but I'm very much week to week. We go through the same process. We review, analyse it, review it, put it to bed, look at the next one, make your plan, and we go again. Yeah, looking too far ahead is pretty dangerous, particularly in the spot we find ourselves in, where every 2 points on offer, we need to be doing our damnedest to make sure we get them between now and the end of the year to put ourselves in a good position. So yeah, looking at a cup game in a few weeks would be pretty dangerous for us, I think.